So let's continue with this handout for our second lab, graphical user interface exercises. And so internally, I call these color, line, style, and point are like helper classes or utility classes, because they themselves, they do not represent graphical user primitives, but they're helpful parts that can be used by the objects that are created, objects of this type that can be created at runtime. Blank canvas is simply just like, when we declare the window, of course, we're going to get like a canvas, the backdrop for right here for our, our containment, like whatever gadgets we want to be able to contain there. So this is just like creating the window without anything. So we can try this very easily. Basically, just like get rid of all other parts that we try to put in there, and it's just like basically, and even another demonstration here that we created a named object with these parameters to be initialized, and this was this helper class that encapsulates location on the surface of the screen. But we don't have to actually, if this is the only time we use it, we can take this point right here and use it like this. Just basically construct a nameless object. Let me resize my screen. Right, construct this nameless object and specify the height and width and so forth. So of course, for all of these magic constants, we can create a separate set of constants, to have a one place to modify them. But right now, these are sometimes when things are hard to read, in terms of like what is this and what is this. Sometimes I add inline comments like this. Basically say this is X, right? And this is Y. Y right here, coordinates, right? And this is the width, and this is the height. So sometimes, if you want to use such values, perhaps this would be one way to like keep them more or less readable, because when I see these jammed numeric values all over the place, I just it throws me back. It's just, for me, I find it very hard to deal with just bare bone numbers like this. But since we're just using like quick exercises, we'll be using a lot of these numbers, just basically hard coded. Now notice one more thing. We create this blank window and we say then wait for button. So if we don't say wait for button like this, okay, I will build this application and run it. And if we don't wait for the button, the window, like when I run it, the window flashes on my screen and quickly disappears. So it is only with a simple window. This is a way for us to tell the operating system that we're actually expecting user action. Like, we don't want this application to disappear, to go away before a user takes an action. So this is right now accomplished with wait for window. Then the next slide here demonstrates how we can add an axis to the application. So we can try it like this, just copy and paste and just see how this looks like on our screen when we add this to our application. And we can talk a little bit about this. Right. So basically, well, what is? Yeah, I just need to get rid of this empty statement. Okay, so right here, let's just close this. So the axis is a kind of shape, but it also adds notches or like marks to the line segment. And this is an example of the configuration parameters. So let's just like run it and see how this looks like. Okay, so let me see. So I think it's like a very pale like shade color. So it's hard to see. So let me just like close this and redo the color of it. I think says X axis, and so let's see what is the like how we can modify the color of this axis. Okay, let's find out.